Hello. This is a video I did on my head. Right off the top of my head. Literally. This is me making a Hugulkultur pond. First I'm going to set up this thing. The best source of water is my greywater, but it's actually not very good. You know, not pond worthy, that's for sure. So whatever I can do to filtrate it, treat it, you know, get some carbon into it. So right now I'm kind of setting up this, call it a biofilter, for all the excess ammonia and nitrogen that's in my nasty gray water that's inside my tank. I haven't dumped out yet. Oh, I still want to use for this pond. More dirt, more sticks, more grass. I don't really care at this point. This isn't a fully scientific process. I just know that there's so many kinds of fungus, bacteria, all that kind of stuff in there. One of them, you know, is bound to help. So, you know, I just go with abundance. And here I'm getting some living grass. This actually grass is it's a amphibious plant. It's one of the more common plants I use in my ponds and liquid biofilters. It's just great, you know. You can pull the quote-unquote weeds and get some amphibious plants for your ponds and stuff. Here I'm kind of trying to set up like a living wall, like a filter. Nothing's gonna live in here. I'm still using this after making this video, except I'm not allowing it to drain into the pond. I release a little bit of water into this every once in a while and mix it up and introduce that into my garden as kind of like really great compost tea. The plants love it. Here I'm hooking up the gray water hose, which is a little too long at the moment. Run it in there. So much for the excess. This ain't perfect. I mean, later on I might set up a more stable gray water processing, like a shorter hose running down a sort of ramp from there to there. And currently I'm internally composting. I have another system going on for my human waste. There's nothing, no frogs, no fish, nothing yet in here that could be adversely affected by the fact this water is nasty gross. Nasty. So the water has been filtering through there. It's kind of, I wouldn't call it filtered. I just wanted to treat it with as much carbon as possible to neutralize the baddies. Kind of pushing it to one side, and building up this this layer of stuff. Don't ask me what I was thinking before all this. I just kind of like, you know, I've got certain knowledge. I may not completely plan everything out. I sometimes just come up with stuff on the fly, and that's why, you know, all these different things work together for me to kind of pull out solutions. I find if I like write a lot of stuff down or draw a lot of stuff, I don't really get to doing things That's why I finally decided to strap the camera to my head, because it was really difficult documenting my process, you know. What am I supposed to do? Last time I uploaded a video, I don't think a lot of people really appreciated it that much, because it was really fast paced. The video material was like over 4 hours, and I wanted to condense it. That wasn't the right way to condense it. It was just ridiculous. I might have given some people seizures. I'm not even kidding. Anyway, here I am getting some plants that I know might do sort of well in the environment there. Like this particular type of grass. I find a lot around ponds. It's done okay in my other ponds. It's gonna go in. What am I going for? Yeah. I mean, yeah, I try not to clear too much of a given area, and just you know, allow it. It might even be good for the development of some of these areas to open up some spaces, kind of like falling a tree in the middle of a forest, but you know, sustainably in a regenerative capacity. Fill this up. I mean, like, better to not take 2 trips with the same bucket. Wow, that was a quick walk. Oh, the frogs love that. Oh, yeah. He's making it look all nice, even though it's not really meant to look nice yet. Don't judge me. Add that one. In you go! More of this. Oh, oh yeah, this is the part where I'm getting more soil. I wanted, you know, some leaves and some stuff for tannin. Other different things for the pond itself. You know, again, I think it's because the pond right now, it's pretty stinky, pretty dang stinky pond. You know, the pond water doesn't smell good. The gray water doesn't smell good. It's an atrocious mix. So, you know, that's from too much ammonia, too much nitrogen, anaerobic bacteria. So here I'm trying to mix up some, you know, new bacterial, new life sources, and some raw organic materials to soak up some of that badness. That was me slapping the air off of it so it would sink to the bottom, not float around. Here, you know, these pieces I was using as part of like a structure. I built these modular pieces in my carpentry class with pallet wood and random discarded nonsense, and the idea was to make these kind of modular structures. They're like, what, I forget, it was like 18 by 36 inches or something like that, and they were part of a roof, they were part of a chicken coop, they've been a part of a few things already, so it's working out. Now they're part of a pond, the lower wall to this pond holding up the Hugulkultur keeps this thing from falling over from the weight of the water. Go figure. Let's get these into place. Make sure it's not too wiggly. A little wiggle is okay, but you know, not too much. I might like plant these later. I think I've already piled dirt and sticks and leaves around this after the fact. This is all being recorded. The voice is being recorded after the fact, obviously. Now let's just keep watching what I do here. Got a toe screw in here. Toenailing toe screwing is where you go in from that angle. And sometimes it's all you can do, you know? You'd be surprised how much legit building is toe screwing. If you do it right, it's okay. That's a direct down. There's a large piece of, there's some very robust timbers in the ground there. This was the structure of a preceding garden bed or something. Not sure exactly what, but there was definitely structure here to build into, and just naturally kind of lend itself to this pond. Like, the reason I'm not digging anything, I'm a renter, you know, I don't own this land. And even if you do own land, sometimes digging is a bear. Like, you know, you're not technically supposed to do it unless you call the county and make sure that there's not that other stuff in the way. There's not, you know, lines, gas lines, pipelines, sewer underneath it. That's all super important. You don't want to cut through that stuff. And in addition, you know, you really have less opportunities than you might think. So this building up business for gardening, Hugulkulturs, ponds, all sorts of stuff, it's actually quite handy. You're just like, you know, instead of being the subtractive method, and then your stuff can still reach into the soil, your roots can still go down, that, you know, kills the grass underneath it, opens up areas, and you know, the animals move right in. There's toads, red-legged frogs. I put the fish there, but, you know, all around there gives this opportunity for all of this life to fill in the gaps. Not just your agricultural plants, you know, and then it's like making surplus. And Hugulkultur is such an amazing method for. Here I'm, you know, I ended up clearing this whole. There was this part of this land that was just a giant compost pile. It was roving. It was all over the place. In the process of making this thing, I got some accolades from my landlords. Actually, they're like, I originally felt guilty. I just assumed that everybody was, you know, seeing what this glut of gold, you know, and itching to do something with it. It turned out that they appreciated it because they didn't have a plan for it. And a lot of people just burn it, you know. I think don't burn it. Turn it into Hugulkultur, for crying out loud. Especially if you can make, like, you know, this bird nest kind of Hugulkultur thing, and then put a pond liner in the middle of it. You know? Pretty amazing. Now this thing is full of duckweed. It's growing duckweed, and it's got red-legged frogs. And they use it for water. It's a source of fertilizer. It's a source of chicken food. I take a rake and I grab duckweed out of this. I put the duckweed out for the chickens to go through. It's full of tiny black freshwater snails. You know, so there's hella calcium. There's hella protein. There's all of this. This is free food for your chickens to eat. You know, it goes right into your eggs, okay? Duckweed, pondweed, sometimes it's called, is itself an amazing food. And it's covered in diatoms, which are, the roots are covered in diatoms, which are silica. Having water in your agricultural setups, like integrating water into your setups, is critical, I feel. You know, the habitat, you know, that there's a million ways in one to do regenerative agriculture, organic agriculture, or gardening, or any number of things. But this ecology and habitat aspect, I think, is the most important, because, you know, you're setting up spaces for garter snakes and different, you know, kinds of mammals, and even the mammals, even the voles and the rodents and stuff like that. I don't necessarily mind. I think, you know, you got mammals moving in. That's a sign you got an ecosystem. Okay, that's then the hawks come, then the weasels come, then you got owls and foxes, and you're starting to make nature. That's not failure. I see that as being a successful gardener. You're contributing to bringing life in all its forms back to the planet and back to areas where we inhabit. I kind of have I've got a good problem in the sense, like, I've got to watch where I walk now. Like, 1 out of 3 times I step out my door on a hot day, I've got to avoid stepping on a giant garter snake. This big, beautiful garter snake that's got red stripe running down its back, and it's just amazing. I'm humbled, you know. Very honored to set this up. There's all sorts of pondweed going into this. In the long run, I don't have to add a lot of aquatic plants. Just the water is full of it. I'm blessed to have this goose pond. There's a family of geese that raises their goslings every year here. I just wanted to give you guys a taste of what I was up to. I ended up piling a bunch of cool stuff around this. I ended up planning it quite a bit. More videos coming if you want. If you're interested, let me know what you think. This one's signing out. Peace, guys. Love, peace, and trees.